of God. We come to the end of another year and the start of a new year, and I want us to do some self-examination this morning. I want us to ask ourselves some probing questions. Questions like, am I really putting the kingdom of God first in my list of priorities? Am I living for God more than I am living for self, or am I living for self more than I am living for God? Am I earnest and consistent and faithful in spiritual matters? Or is it the case that the world has captured a large portion of my heart and I'm seeking the things of time and sense more than I'm seeking the things of God? Believer, that's an important question. And what we're engaged in this morning is a very important examination. And it leads me to deal with the theme of what our priority ought to be in 2013. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Let's notice here, first of all, that the kingdom of God is superior to all other things in this world. The kingdom of God is superior to all other things in this world. There's a great contrast in this chapter, not only between believers and non-believers, but also between the things of the world and the things of God. In verse 25, for example, Christ spoke of the impossibility of serving God and mammon at the same time. And those two phrases summarize the great contrast in this section of the chapter. The word mammon refers to the things of men, the things of earth, and especially with reference to the thought of money. Whereas the reference to God in verse 25, you cannot serve God and mammon, the reference to God there speaks of God's kingdom. And that corresponds to the phrase, the kingdom of God, that's used in verse 33. Now there's the great contrast. On one hand, there are things that relate to this world. The things that are temporal, the things that are physical, the things that occupy the minds of men and women, the things that focus on money and possessions and wealth and what we have here in this world. And on the other hand, there is the kingdom of God. Now there's some debate as to what that phrase, the kingdom of God, actually means. Matthew Henry said it means the sum and the substance of our whole duty. John Gill, the Baptist commentator, said it referred to the gospel and the ministry of the gospel. David Dixon, in his commentary, said it referred to God's grace and glory in heaven. Now, all of those definitions capture some aspect of this. The kingdom of God refers to his grace and his glory, and to the entire aspect of living under his reign. His kingdom has a king, and a rule, and dominion, and authority, and power, and glory, and grace. And therefore this term, the kingdom of God, refers to that which is stamped with the grace and the glory of God, and all that that entails. It speaks of every aspect of gospel truth, every aspect of gospel living. And when we consider the phrase in that light, it's obvious that the kingdom of God, this kingdom of grace, this kingdom of glory, is greater, infinitely superior to anything earthly or worldly.